The North Node in astrology is your destiny. It's the point in your chart where you are constantly reaching towards in your life. It's where you seek to grow into. The North Node is the cup that's never 100% full. You want to keep drinking out of that cup. You always aim towards and reach towards your North Node in your life. You constantly seek to learn more information about your North Node, and you constantly try to reach that area of your life. Hi, my name is Elizabeth. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Here we like to talk about astrology, numerology, and everything written in the stars for you. I've been a practicing astrologer since 2017, and here on this channel, I share my knowledge with you about everything written in the stars. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the North Node in astrology and what it means for you based on the house placement you have it in. Your North Node can tell you a lot about your soul's journey and where you seek to reach towards with your soul in this lifetime. You're constantly reaching towards that area of your life. Understanding the house that your North Node is in will tell you so much about where you seek to grow into and what you seek to achieve in this lifetime. I'm going to go through all 12 houses. Let's go ahead and start with the first house. If you have your North Node in the first house, in this lifetime, you are seeking to grow more into yourself. You're seeking to step into your own personal energy and put yourself first. You are growing away from putting everybody else first and caring so much about your relationships, and instead step into your own power, take a good look at yourself in the mirror, and work towards becoming more of yourself and become very self-sufficient. You might even want to become so self-sufficient to the point that you do not work for anybody else and you become more of a self-made person. You don't necessarily want to work for a company, and you don't want to keep putting other people in front of you. You want to grow away from caring about your one-on-one relationship so much. You don't want to be so codependent and focused on everyone else, and instead you're working towards growing into this perception of yourself that puts yourself forward. You're trying to become more of a person who rushes into things and puts yourself first. You don't want to keep giving so much energy to other people, and you're trying to grow into the person who you know you're supposed to be. You are not supposed to keep putting other people first. You're meant to stand in your own power and look at yourself and be that person who you know you are on the inside. You're meant to reach towards the first house in astrology. During this time that you go through something called your nodal reversal, you could go through a major glow up, and you could change your hair color, you could change your appearance, you could change your wardrobe in order to express yourself outwardly the way you feel on the inside. You might also feel like you need to change your appearance and go through a glow up in order to become more favorable when you're ready to step into your own power. If you have your North Node in the second house, this can take on a number of different meanings. Many people who have their North Node in the second house went through a back period of their lives, whether they were growing up or just some sort of period in their life where they were bullied or faced a lot of adversaries. They had to go through the trenches really in order to then step into their own power. They could have been bullied, kicked, pushed down by other people when they're in their South Node energy. And when they go into their second house energy, they are now becoming more self-confident and step into their own personal power. They're not meant to be kicked and pushed down by people throughout their entire lives. They're meant to step into their own power and really become more true to themselves. Many celebrities have their North Node and South Node axes on the second house and eighth house, and that's because you have to overcome a lot and you can't really give other people any energy. Otherwise, they'll try to take advantage of you, and you have to step into your power and become more self-made in order to become somebody who you are supposed to be. The second house also has a lot to do with personal finances. So this is why many celebrities will have their North Node and South Node on the second house, eighth house axis as well, because they're meant to become more self-confident and also be somebody who is there to increase their finances in this lifetime. They're meant to grow generational wealth for all of their heirs. They're meant to generate a lot of wealth and be very self-sufficient. Many of these people are also very self-made, as that's really the only way that you can really gain a lot of generational wealth throughout your entire lifetime. So they're here to stop giving other people so much energy, because the more you give these people, you give them an inch, they're gonna take a mile. So you have to step into your own power and be someone very strong and confident, no matter what other people say. and work really hard in order to step into your own power and be someone who's here to create a whole life for themselves and be more self-sufficient by yourself. You're not meant to depend on other people having this placement. You're meant to be in your own power and trust your intuition and trust yourself and be somebody who's here to really generate generational wealth. If you have your North Node in the 3rd house, you are somebody who in this lifetime is meant to take all of the information that you've gained over past lifetimes and all of the wisdom that you've gained over past lifetimes and turn it into actual tangible communications. You're meant to post on social media. You're meant to start that podcast. You're meant to start that blog. You're meant to communicate in this lifetime and take all of the wisdom that you've gained for over past lifetimes and turn it into something that you can tangibly speak on and communicate about. You're meant to communicate and give other people that wisdom, all that wisdom with other people, and help people in this lifetime with your innate wisdom and knowledge. You're meant to post on social media, post that blog, start that YouTube channel, and share your word with everybody else. And in turn, you will find that you become very successful in doing so. You become a very powerful and successful person, and other people will look towards you as a source of communications for them. They want to look towards you as the correct person to go to for information, the best person to go to for information. And you constantly, with this placement, will want to study what other people do and constantly take in and study information. If you have your North Node in the 4th house, you might have come from a background of being in the spotlight in some way. Maybe you were a child star, maybe you were just on stage in some way and people saw you, or maybe you were more famous and popular in your teen years. You could have been a content creator and posted more on social media when you were in middle school or a teenager, and throughout your 20s you could have even been somebody in the spotlight. Yet after something called your nodal reversal, which happens in your late 20s, you could be kicked out of the spotlight for some reason. You could be pushed out of the spotlight and you're meant to be more at home now. So you could still create things and be in the spotlight, but you're more kind of in the background now. As you age, you're meant to be at home more often and be more comfortable. You could have made most of your money in your early years, and now in your North Node energy, you're meant to be somebody who is more at home and with their family and living more of a comfortable life, as it wasn't as comfortable when you were in your 10th house energy in your South Node. If you have your North Node in the 5th house, you might be somebody who is meant to be creative in this lifetime. You have a lot of gifts. You're somebody who is very strong visual artist, fashion, makeup, hair, everything. And in your past lives, you were somebody who really understood groups of people. You have a very strong sense of people. You understand people. You know what makes them tick. You're very smart as it relates to humanitarianism and groups of people. And in order to really grow into the person who you're supposed to be with having North Node in the 5th house, you have to take all of the energy of having your South Node in the 11th house and really work hard on gathering all that information of people, really turn it into something tangible, and you're going to be using your creativity in order to entertain groups of people with this. If you have your North Node in the 6th house, in this lifetime you are growing into becoming a more healthy version of yourself. In your past lives and in your earlier years, you could have been someone who was in the hospital, who could have been suffering in some way, who could have had health issues. You could have been, again, in the hospital for some reason. And as you grow in age, you work on becoming healthier and you work on having a better life for yourself in order to become a healthier and fitter version of yourself. You might seek to have better relationships at work and have a better work environment for yourself. You could really care a lot about being somebody who takes care of themselves and doesn't necessarily who really takes care of themselves. You want to grow into being a healthier version of yourself. You don't want to keep continuing to have health scares anymore. You want to be healthier and fitter. If you have your North Node in the 7th house, in this lifetime, you are growing into becoming very strong with people. You're supposed to be in a codependent relationship. You're meant to be married. You're meant to have best friends. You're meant to be around people and have one-on-one relationships, and you cannot get enough of it. You love having relationships with other people. In past lives, you could have been more selfish or even had more of an intense background. Maybe you had a very, very intense upbringing where you had to really fight for yourself and put yourself first. However, throughout your entire life, you'll find that the universe is going to force you to partner with people. You can no longer be selfish. You have to be with somebody. You have to be in a partnership in order to be able to survive. The North Node in the 7th house, you can't keep being selfish. You have to be able to partner with somebody, and you have to be kind of codependent on other people in order to survive. You're meant to really focus on your relationships and grow really, really good relationships throughout this time period. You can't necessarily keep only focusing on yourself. You have to focus on other people as well. And again, a big part of your destiny is to get married or be in partnerships throughout your entire life. You might also find that you could be somebody at work who creates partnerships for your company as well, and that's a big part of your destiny. If you have your North Node in the 8th house, you could have come from a past of being in the spotlight, being self-sufficient, taking care of yourself, really working hard for yourself and growing your own money for yourself. But there could be something in your life that forces you to care more about shared resources. You could get into a partnership. You could start working for a company. You could have been somebody in the past who was like a music artist and was completely self-sufficient. And then all of a sudden in your North Node, instead of doing things just for yourself and just for making money for yourself, maybe you then turn into an executive at a record label and work for the company. And even if you're in the high up levels, you care more about creating wealth and resources for the company and create shared resources for everyone, and take all of that knowledge gained from being in the 2nd house energy and put it into the 8th house energy, where you can then generate wealth for more people than just yourself. More than just yourself at this point, it's more about everyone else in the collective. And again, generating wealth for an entire organization, or like creating shared resources for an entire company instead of just solely yourself. If you have your North Node in the 9th house, in this lifetime, you're meant to travel. You're meant to go everywhere and see it for yourself. Having this placement, you could be like a content creator and travels everywhere and post it online so everyone can see. You're coming from a South Node of 3rd house energy, so you really like social media, but you also want to travel because your North Node is in the 9th house. So you want to go places, you want to visit things, and you love social media as well. So that's like a possibility of something that you could do. You could also have a journey through higher education with having this placement, where you constantly are reaching for being in universities. You could have an addiction to getting college degrees. You couldn't just have your bachelor's, you had to have your master's, your doctorate, your 2nd doctorate, and so on. You love information, you're very smart, you're very intelligent, and you want to continue to grow your knowledge throughout your entire life. If you have your North Node in the 10th house, you have kind of an addiction to fame or being in the public eye. You constantly are reaching towards your fame throughout your entire life. You seek to be famous. You want to grasp it in your hand. You want to be there. You want to be in the public eye. You want paparazzi. You want to be the center of attention all of the time. You want fame, visibility, notoriety, and you're constantly working towards that one thing. However, just being something like a celebrity is not enough for you, because you're somebody who also really wants to be a business owner as well. So you could be like the Kardashians, for example, who are celebrities but then have businesses. They are business owners. You could want that as well. Having the North Node in the 10th house, you want to be in the public eye in some way, and you also want to be a business owner and be in a managerial role where you are self-sufficient, self-made, and have a lot of people working for you. That's kind of what your destiny is as well. You no longer want to be at home. You don't want to sit back and be at home like you were in your earlier years. You want to be in the public eye, have all of that public attention and public recognition. You don't want to rely on other people. You want to rely on yourself, and you want to be in a managerial or CEO role of your own company. If you have your North Node in the 11th house, you're somebody who's very deeply creative, who is an artist, who is good at anything that they do creatively. You're kind of an entertainer as well. But your destiny in this lifetime isn't to keep that all to yourself. You have to start posting it on social media. You have to start sharing that with the world. You have to start making music and start entertaining large groups of people with this placement. You have to be in crowds of people, entertaining them. You have to be the center of attention in groups of people. You have to share things online with your social networks. You're going to find the most power when you're tapping into your social networks, and you're constantly going to want to work to grow that social media presence. You want to become somebody in the spotlight who works really hard to be in that spotlight and take all of your creative energy and push it towards being famous in networks of people. If you have your North Node in the 12th house, you're coming from a place where at one point you had good health and you were healthy. You care so much about your own personal health. You care a lot about how it relates to groups of people as well. You care about your work, your coworkers. You could also be very smart and diligent and practical. But throughout your life, something could happen to you, especially when you go through your nodal reversal, that lands you in the hospital or lands you in some of the themes of the 12th house, some of the places that the 12th house rules over, and that could be your destiny. You're meant to be there. You could end up working in a hospital system or working somewhere in the long term that rules over those themes. You might end up becoming like an executive at a hospital system or something like that. Doesn't necessarily mean that you will be in those systems, but you could be somebody who has power over those systems. You could be a president of a hospital or something like that. Or be a surgeon or something. It's kind of similar to having Pluto in the 12th house as well. I hope this video helps shine some light on your North Node in astrology and the houses that the North Node could be in. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel as I post new videos every single week.